Okay, for the next set of exercises, it's naming multiple representations of polar coordinates. Okay, sometimes these will be given in degrees and sometimes they will be given in radians. This theta is between negative 360 and positive 360, means that you should end up with a measure that's 360 or less, the absolute value of 360 or less, one rotation. Well, you'll notice in this example, sometimes they add 180, sometimes they add 360 or subtract 360, and that's to get the measure for your result back, or I'm sorry, sometimes you will do that and then you will either need to subtract 360 or add 360, add 2 pi, subtract 2 pi to get the measure back within the range that it needs to be. All right, well, it is what it is, and it may be easier to do this. I've worked some examples out that you have in your packet, but it may be easier just to use a graph to get these measurements. All right, here's a measure for 135 degrees. So rotate 135 degrees, go up 4, mark your point. Okay, now using a graph, you can clearly see that you could also do a negative rotation of, here's 180, and then let's see, these are 15-degree increments, 180 plus 1, 2, plus 45, that would make it 200 and, let me see here, 225. So you could go negative 225 degrees, boom, and then up 4. Or the mirror image of that is this 315-degree angle here. So rotate 315 degrees and then go in the negative direction 4 times. So doing it with a graph, we would end up with, let me find a piece of paper here. Okay, the original one was 4, 135. Then we went in the negative direction, 225, so negative 225. And we also went 4 in the positive direction. Then we looked at the other side, and that put us at 315 degrees. So 315-degree rotation. Sorry. This time we want to go negative 4. That backs it back up to the point where it's at. Right, so we rotated around 315 degrees. Now from the origin we want to go back 4 degrees, so minus 4. Right, and the last one would be to travel in the negative direction till we get here. So 15, 30, 45 degrees. So rotate in the negative direction 45 degrees, and then from the origin go back. So negative 45 degrees, and then go back negative 4. Alright, so let's kind of make sense of what we got here. Here was the original point. Now we ended up with 2 positive radius measures, 2 negative radius measures, 2 positive angle measures, 2 negative angle measures. And that's the way that it should be with each one of these. It makes no difference whether they're radian measures that you're working with or degree measures that you're working with. So let's try some of them. All right, number 15 in the book. Let me adjust everything here. The instructions are Find three different pairs of polar coordinates that name the same given point. And again, our restriction is negative 360 to positive 360, or negative 2 pi to positive 2 pi. So number 15, negative 2, 300. Let me find my graph paper here. So negative 2, 300. Now you can look at the examples that I gave you of working them out. They get a bit confusing because some of our results ended up being more than 360 or more than 2 pi, and there was some adjustments that had to be made. This probably turns out to be the easiest way, even though the book didn't clearly point this out. So first, let's rotate 300 degrees. That puts us to here. Now, if this were a positive 2, then we would come down here to 2 and put a point. But since it's negative 2, we are going to go in the other direction, 2, and make our point. 1, 2. There we go. So that is the polar point, negative 2, 300. Now we're going to use a little common sense. To get to here, we can also go in the positive direction to 120. So, let's see, this is also 120 and positive 2. We rotate it up to 120, then from the origin, we traveled to in the positive direction. Okay, now we can come to the other side here, and we can go to put a point. I probably didn't want to do that. Mark that out. Okay, how do we get to this particular ray right here? Well, we get here by traveling in the negative direction, 60 degrees. So negative 60. And then to get back to here, we've rotated here 60 degrees. If that were a positive number, we would go here for the radius, but it's a negative, so we go backwards. So backwards 2. All right. Now one more. What is another way that we can get to here? Well, let's see. I'm sorry, to here. Well, we could rotate again in the negative direction, and we could go all the way to here. So negative 180, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 60 more, so 240 degrees. So negative 240. And if we rotate negative 240 degrees, then we would again be going in the positive direction 2. Let's see what we ended up with. We ended up with the radius, 1, 2 negatives, and 2 positives. And the angle measures, 1, 2 positives, and 2 negatives. I think we've done it, and that was certainly easier than adding 360, adding 180, subtracting 180, changing the sign of the radius measure. Let's try one with a radian measure, like number 17. Number 17 says negative 3, 2 pi over 3. Okay, so negative 3, 2 pi over 3. I'm going to adjust everything here to make it a little bit easier for me to work, so bear with me just a second. And let me zoom in on this. There we go. All right. Our first rotation, 2 pi over 3. All right. Let's see. Here's 2 pi over 3. So we rotate 2 pi over 3, and then from the origin, we're going to go in the negative direction 3. So 2 pi over 3 going in the negative direction. My eyes aren't what they used to be, so 1, 2, 3. All right, there's our point. How else can we get there? Well, let's see. To get to here, positively, we could rotate around 5 pi over 3. 5 pi over 3. We rotate the 5 pi over 3, then we also go positively this time 3. I rotated positively, ended up here. This is the positive direction for that angle rotation. I'm also going to find this point by coming to here. So to get to here, I've already gone in the positive direction this way, but now going in the negative direction. All right. Once again, each one of these are 15 degrees, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That means 60 degrees above 180. Or, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I have to stop and think now. For the radians, going in this direction, if I were going to go in the positive direction that far, that would put me right here. So that means a rotation of 4 pi over 3, only going this way. 4 pi over 3. Now let me say that again. Okay. If I traveled in this direction, here I've gone pi. And then I go the equivalent of 60 more degrees, only in radians. What would that measure be? Well, if I go in the positive direction to here, I go to pi. And going 60 more puts me right here. So that's a length of 4 pi over 3. 4 pi over 3. In the negative direction, going 4 pi over 3 puts me right back here. Negative 4 pi over 3. I know that's a bit confusing. It is easier than doing the addition, subtraction. Spend a little time with it and you'll finally get it. 4 pi over 3. So if I rotate negative 4 pi over 3, then to get to here, this is the direction of my rotation, so I need to go the opposite way 3. So negative 3. There's my third one. The original one, 2 more. All right, so far I've got 2 radius measures that are negative, 1 positive. So I need 1 more positive, so I know it's going to be positive 3. And I've got 2 positive rotations and 1 negative. So I know that my final rotation is going to be a negative. And it will be going from 0 directly to here in the negative direction. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 15 is 60 degrees. So I'm going down 60 degrees. If we were doing degrees, this would be a negative 60 degree rotation. But this is in radians. So I'll go find the 60 degree angle. That corresponds with pi over 3. So that means I'm going negative pi over 3 to get to here. And that was my final measure that I needed. So I rotate negative pi over 3. This is the direction of my rotation, so I'm going in the positive 3 for my radius. Okay, read the book. Look at the examples that I gave you of calculating this. I hope I didn't get any of those wrong, because I got to thinking, hey, this would be so much easier just using the graph. So I did them once by working them out by hand. Secondly, by what I just showed you right here now, by using the graph. So do it whichever way that you would like. If you're just overwhelmed, confused, here's my phone number, 903-818-1565. This is the cell phone for the cell phone that I keep in my room. I have it with me. It's the class cell phone. Text me, send me a message, call me, leave me a message, whatever you need to do. Please be appropriate. It's not like I can't find out who sent the message or who sent the naughty stuff, so let's just not go there. You can email me at Ector, if I could spell, Ectormath at gmail.com, or jmackey at ectorisd.net. But call me. Try these. Do these. I only gave you a few per day. I think you can do this, and I think it will be all right. Like I said, I'm going to be patient with you. Thank you for being patient with me. I hope it goes well. I hope everything at home is going well. I miss you all and hope that we can get back together as a class very soon.